Daddy's little girl, like, you were the youngest. What do you feel your parents were expecting you to become?
Like all parents, they want their children to be happy.
Are you happy?
I am happy in the sense that I have many things to be grateful for, but if I have a wish for myself, it's to be able to achieve something.
The story you are about to hear is not gentle. It is not softened for comfort, and it was never designed to make anyone feel safe. For years, the world believed this chapter was closed. The names were reported, the trials were concluded. The headlines moved on to fresher scandals and newer faces. But silence does not mean the truth has dissolved. Sometimes silence is simply the sound of something dangerous being held in place, waiting for the moment when protection expires. Inside a prison cell, Ghislaine Maxwell has reached that point. There are no alliances left to maintain, no reputations left to defend, no future invitations left to lose. According to multiple private source claims, she has started to speak, not in public interviews, not in tearful press conferences, but carefully, intentionally, piece by piece. And among the names now slipping back into circulation is one many assumed had become untouchable, Marina Calder. Not as Her Grace, not as a duchess, not as a polished royal brand, but as a woman from an earlier chapter, a version of herself that existed before titles, before curated photographs, before globally managed narratives. A time when what mattered was not fame, but access. When photographs were taken casually at parties, on tarmacs, by private pools, without anyone suspecting that those frozen moments could become radioactive years later. According to sources, a set of previously buried images is resurfacing. Associations long dismissed as gossip are being re-examined. What was once quietly erased is now slipping back into the record. This is not a story about tabloid rumor. It is a story about what could not stay hidden forever. Every scandal reaches a point when control is lost, not through an official announcement, but through exposure. Multiple sources claim that a collection of photographs, once aggressively suppressed, has re-emerged into view. These images are described as problematic, not because of what they show at first glance, but because of who appears in them, where they were taken, and who else is now known to have been present at that time. For years, those images were allegedly scrubbed, deleted from digital archives, removed from agency catalogs, quietly made impossible to license or even search. And yet, here they are again. Insiders insist the reason is simple. There were too many people involved, too many overlapping circles, too many witnesses with their own loyalties and grudges. You can coordinate stories for a while, you can align talking points for a season, but you cannot hold every person in a network together indefinitely. At a certain point, maintaining silence becomes more dangerous than letting the record breathe. What makes these photographs so unsettling is not just that they exist, it is the effort required to make them disappear. Institutions do not invest time and money in erasing something that poses no threat. Media agencies do not lock down content, reclassify it, or restrict it without a reason. Someone somewhere decided these pictures were better kept out of sight, and now that decision is unraveling. The photographs place Meghan Markle inside a social environment long associated, both publicly and through court testimony, with Jeffrey Epstein, a man whose world was defined by elite gatherings, discreet travel, and controlled access. This was not a single house, not one island, not a single city. It was a web, a traveling ecosystem of invitations, jets, penthouses, and no press events. The kind of spaces where the guest list mattered more than the location, and where discretion was the unspoken entry fee. This is the moment the story shifts from rumor to record. At first glance, a photo is just a photo. A face, a room, a fraction of a second frozen in time. But context changes everything. According to source claims, these images are described as dangerous, not because they show obvious criminality, but because they confirm presence. Not coincidence, not hearsay. Presence. Physical proximity within a known social circle, already linked to abuse and exploitation in courts and testimony elsewhere. Presence anchors a timeline. It ties people to locations. It connects individuals who were once separated by plausible deniability. More importantly, it helps explain the silence. When images vanish, it is rarely about embarrassment. It is about liability. It is about what those images might prompt others to remember, to admit, or to finally say out loud. Sources allege that anytime these materials began to surface, through blogs, forums, or quiet inquiries, efforts were made to downplay, distract, and redirect. The strategy was not to confront, it was to exhaust. You do not answer every question, you outlast it. You let the public grow tired, let news cycles move on, let people decide it is too complicated to care. You bury the difficult images under softer content, charity projects, glossy photos, carefully managed interviews about mental health, motherhood, or duty. But time changes leverage. When protection fades, when alliances fracture, when those who once benefited from silence no longer see value in keeping it, the truth does not need to be argued. It only needs to be shown. That is why these resurfaced images matter. Not because they scream accusations, but because they quietly establish placement. And placement is the foundation of every serious inquiry. To understand how this is even possible, you have to understand obscurity. Before Meghan Markle became a global brand, she was something far more useful to powerful people: anonymous. During the years in question, sources claim she moved through elite social environments with minimal scrutiny, precisely because there was no reason for observers to pay attention. She was not famous enough to be followed. She was not powerful enough to be monitored. She was not important enough for anyone to track her movements. That anonymity was a shield. At private events, early fashion launches, friends of friends openings, and invitation-only gatherings, unknown faces blend into the decor. Names are not recorded, backgrounds are not investigated, and no one asks who covered the flights or hotel rooms. According to claims from people familiar with those circles, Meghan Markle was present at gatherings where proximity mattered more than status. Introductions happened quietly, away from cameras. Access was granted informally, through whispers and nods, not public guest lists. In those rooms, being nobody was protection. That is why her presence went largely undocumented at the time. Images that did exist were not labeled with her name because she did not yet matter in a way that required labels. Only later, after marriage, after elevation, after global attention, did that past start to look hazardous. Obscurity shields you until it doesn't. And once a crown appears, every unseen step that came before becomes part of the public record, whether anyone wanted it there or not. If anonymity was the shield, access required a corridor. According to source claims, one of the most consistent gateways into the upper levels of elite society during this period was a private members network known as Soho House. On the surface, it appeared casual, creative, harmless, a place for entrepreneurs, artists, and wealthy patrons to mingle. Behind closed doors, it functioned as a connector, quietly linking powerful people from finance, entertainment, royalty-adjacent families, and global politics. In 2015, Meghan Markle is said to have been flown to Istanbul for the opening of a Soho House location. At that time, she was not a globally recognized name. She was not a headliner. She was allegedly described as social filler, one of many attractive, well-presented individuals invited to populate rooms, attend parties, and maintain atmosphere. But these events were not random parties. Soho House openings, according to insiders, were magnets. The guest list skewed toward high-net-worth individuals, discreet executives, aristocratic outliers, and those who valued secrecy over publicity. Invitations were a form of currency. Presence implied access. What raised quiet questions later, sources claim, was the scale of travel connected to her presence. International flights, premium seating, high-end accommodation, a level of mobility that seemed out of sync with her television acting income at the time. Even colleagues from her on-screen work, according to claims, privately wondered how such travel and lifestyle were being funded. No answer was offered, none was demanded. In that corridor, no one asks how you arrived. They only ask if you belong.